It is Carolyn Doran Ballard, and good morning to you. I can't believe it's another Tuesday. It seems like it comes quicker and quicker, and I think it's because we're still in that slight pandemic mode, but hopefully we are going to say goodbye to that and open with a great fall season starting in September. Welcome to number 17 of our Ballard's Bowling Academy kicking back. And today is definitely going to be a treat. And we are going to hear some honest answers later in the show. But of course, as you know, I always start with some announcements. The PBA Junior event in this area will be kicking off on Friday at Ballard in Euless. And Alyssa and her friends will all be bowling. I know they're going on around the country. So wish all of them luck, and thank you to Ballard for putting on such an awesome event. Storm will be hosting a clinic on Friday for all of the youth that are bowling, and I will be present along with Brett Cooper and Diana, so it's going to be a lot of fun. The SYC in Myrtle Beach that will be in October is sold out. I want to thank Gary and Leanne and Blair and their entire staff, as well as Storm, for all they do for those events. They are fantastic, and it has really given our youth an opportunity to shine in so many different ways with making friends, getting them to be a little more confident, and building their bowling skills. So thank you to all of them and all the pros that have given of their time. BBBC month, yes, September 1st. Please make sure to go and like our Facebook page. We need more followers. This month, we are going to start a month-long giveaway. We're going to do raffles, okay? We're going to have a ton of different prizes. We're going to be posting them throughout the month. You can buy your raffle tickets right off the website. And on the final day, September 30th, I have it written down, we're going to cut everything off at 5 p.m. And that night, we're going to go live and pick the tickets of all of the winners. We appreciate all of the help that we get. And I know since this year is a little different, our event has been postponed to 2021, but we are still going to do a raffle and hopefully raise some money for those in need, battling cancer and going through the journey, and help their families as well. I don't know. I want a quick shout out. I have a note here, and I teetered on whether I was going to mention it or not, because as much as I love a good political chit chat, I want to send a special thank you out to all of the teachers and administrators right now that are teaching our children in person and remotely. Alyssa is on remote learning for this first semester, and I just want everyone out there to know how much you are appreciated. I personally could never have been a teacher. I know I teach bowling, but what you go through and what you have to deal with, I just want you to know we are forever grateful and thank you, and we are thinking of you. So as we move on to our guests today, I always start with words that resonate with the guests. I don't know why I started this, but I have, and I continue to do it. So I'm going to throw out some of the words that I was told by someone. This is words that they feel resonate with these two. And then I've thrown in a couple of words of my own. So we're going to say they are focused, determined, hard worker, funny, laid back, athletic. They're brothers. They have a house party. They are passionate. They are college bowlers from San Jose State. They are role models, and they are extremely respectful besides being bowlers. I want to welcome Michael and Darren Tang to our show this morning. Hi, guys.
Good morning.
Hello.
Okay, so Darren, see now right there from just the hello, Mikey was hello, and Darren was hello.
I didn't
So
even
wait
say
a minute.
hello.
So wait a minute. So wait. The first three words I said were focused, determined, and a hard worker. So those 3 words were said about one of you from someone very close to you. So was that about Darren or Mikey?
Probably Darren.
I couldn't tell you.
It was about
I have
Darren.
no idea.
Funny, laid back, and athletic.
I'll take funny and laid back. I don't know about athletic, but
was Michael, and that was from your dear mother, who I was texting last night when we decided to have you on the show. So as you know, your mom is your parents are fantastic people. So right now, let's start with you, Darren. You are in Las Vegas.
I am.
You live out there, and we talked a little bit about you drill your bowling balls there. You have a homemade pro shop. What are you doing right now, in this off season, getting ready for the team event? What are you busy doing?
Not much has really changed for me other than the amount I'm practicing, but I try to stay consistent year long, stay as sharp as I can year long, just to be ready for whatever events may pop up last minute or prepared. I try to keep everything the same, keep the process the same.
Okay. And Michael, I know you are running your pro shop, which we have right behind you, TV Bowling Supply, with another one of my favorites, Chris Vi. And you're also going to be, we were supposed to be attending your wedding this year, but it has now been pushed to 2021. What are you busy doing besides the pro shop?
The pro shop's mainly it. I'm just kind of enjoying this time that, I don't think we've ever had, just not bowling.
Right.
The tour season can be a little strenuous, so it's kind of nice to be able to decompress, just kind of live like a normal human being for a few months. So kind of enjoying that while we have it, but still sprinkling a little bit of practice in there.
I like it. Okay, so before we get into all the bowling stuff, let's have a little fun. So whichever wants to go first. Well, we let Darren go first last time. We'll let Mikey go first this time. Okay, who's mom and dad's favorite?
Oh, me.
Did you want to think about that a minute?
Me by a long shot.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, why do you say it's you?
Historically, I think the younger sibling is always the favorite. You get a little bit of a handicapped parent, so yeah, I think that's about it.
I personally think I agree with you. I think the firstborn usually has a little bit of a thumbs up on the second. I think my sister would be in total agreement with you on that one. But I know you're a close-knit family, so I don't think your mom and dad really have a favorite. Okay, maybe a little, but not a lot.
Yeah.
All right. Darren, tell us a little bit about growing up. Now, both of you were in sports. I know we're going to see some pictures of both of you. How was that competitive edge with your brother in other sports as well as in bowling?
Oh, man, I think that was the biggest driving factor. We played a lot of sports growing up. Not for very long, though. Mikey committed to some sports longer than I did. But we played baseball. Del showing pictures of us doing karate. Golf. Mikey continued to play golf through high school. I took 6 years off, and I just started picking it back up a lot more this year. But I think that's probably one of the main driving factors behind our competitiveness.
Now, do you think it was ever, did it ever go to the next level? I mean, you're both still competitive, obviously, because you both bowl out on tour. But Mikey, do you see any, and I don't want to say not bad feelings, but it's hard to have a sibling that is doing the same thing you are and trying to make a living at it and be number one, which is why I love having you both on the show today, because I lived that with my sister. And although we made it work and we're very close, it's tough sometimes because you're trying to do your thing, yet you want them to succeed also. So how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think definitely when we were younger, there was more ill will when it came to that kind of stuff. But I think as we both grown up, we understand that it's in both of our best interests if we're both doing as best as we can. I think it could be like what we could do out on tour if I decide to bowl a little better could be unprecedented. Having two brothers that are kind of at the top of the sport. I think we're both kind of striving for that. So next year, if I could throw a few more strikes, I think we'll get one step closer to being where we want to be.
Now, I agree with that because I do think Della and I were just talking about this the other day. I do think our sport needs a little bit of a pick-me-up. So what I mean by that is I'm not being negative. I love bowling. I love the direction we're going, but I do think it could use a little bit of flavor. And with social media, and especially with the younger generation, all of you are so good with getting your message out there. But one of the things, and I guess let's touch on it, you guys have a lot of uniqueness to what you can represent. Your heritage, you're involved in a sport, you're brothers, you're all close, you're involved in social media, you are your own brand as well as Pro Shop. And then Darren, getting to you, tell us a little bit about, as Michael just touched on, he is going to bowl better, by the way. I didn't want you to think I didn't notice that you said that. But thinking about that, tell us a little bit about what you do on your with Twitch.
Yeah, so I've been streaming a lot, actually, mainly playing video games, but for a long time, it was pretty split 50-50 between bowling-related content versus playing video games. Lately, I've just been a bum. I've been playing video games. But it's a good way to connect with the community. And Twitch is a platform that's very new to bowling, or bowling's new to Twitch.
Right.
Very few bowlers stream, especially professionals, I think. Myself, Chris, and I think Andrew are the only professional bowlers that stream.
Okay.
But I, by far, take it almost like a job, as I'm doing it pretty consistently every day for extended hours, and it gets draining sometimes, actually. Like yesterday, I only streamed for a couple of hours because I got burnt out. But I also woke up at 6 and I went to go play golf, so I think that had more to do with it. But big thing is just connecting with the community live.
Oh, okay. I like that idea because as we see, especially with social media and the younger generation, which is, and you're both young, 27 and 24, correct? Correct? Is it 27 and 24? You're young. But even that next generation, like Alyssa, she's 16, they are so in the now, the now. Like, I mean, she's coming up to us. It's funny. I add some things in here, but yesterday I'm picking her up from tennis. And the very first thing she says to me when she gets in the car is she goes, "I am so mad." And I go, "Oh my God, what happened?" And she goes, "The Texas Rangers are, they're trading 2 of the players to the New York Mets." And I looked at her and I go, "How did you even find that out? Like, what, weren't you just playing tennis?" But you know what it is? I mean, as soon as they get done, she's on her phone. That's what she's passionate about. She loves sports. And she's on the phone. I'm going, "Oh my God, it's just so immediate. Everything is just so quick." And then she's busy telling her friends about it. So that word spread within seconds of it being told. And I so agree with that. It's in the here and the now. And that's, hopefully we spread good things and positive vibes, not all the negative. So Michael, with you, you're not really on the Twitch, right? Yeah. Tell us a little bit about this house party that all of you do.
Yeah, so I like to kind of characterize the house as we're like a professional bowling fraternity.
Okay.
Just a group of guys that started rooming together, and then we said, hey, we can brand ourselves. It really helped having Brad and Kyle in the whole house situation, because they're kind of the starting platform for the idea of us trying to, make a YouTube channel, all the stuff that we do. So, we're just a group of young guys trying to market ourselves, and I think we have the opportunity to do something that hasn't really been done in, I wouldn't say any professional sports, but especially bowling, to just have a group of guys just brand themselves the way that we do. So if we play our cards right, hopefully the house will become a big thing.
I think it's awesome. Now, if you need a house mother for that, or sister, I should say, feel free to give me a call. I love everybody in the house. It's just a great group of guys and good for bowling. Again, that's one thing I really want to state today. I mean, having you both on, it's so refreshing. I know there's just so much negativity in the world, but it's so nice to see everybody be just a little bit more positive and bring so much more to the table than just throwing a bowling ball. So now both of you have bowled doubles. Unfortunately, you finished second. You bowled fantastic. You really,
Sorry.
I mean, no. There's no, you win with two, you lose with two, right? So Darren, since you were the first to speak up there, tell us a little bit about how, what is it like bowling with your brother?
I think it's easy. I can't lie. We bring different aspects and different tools to the table, and we do them, I think, pretty well. And I think a combination between the two makes it a little more, how would I say, dangerous for everybody else.
I like that.
So I think if we play at our peak, there aren't a lot of other teams out there that can beat us.
I love it. See, and that's confidence there. I like that. It's not arrogance, that's confidence. Michael, what's it like to bowl with your brother?
It's really fun, especially when we made the show. It's kind of something that we, it's something that you talk about as children trying to do as a professional. We had the chance to do it the first time we bowled doubles together. And kind of what Darren stated, kind of what he brings to the table, what I bring to the table. A lot of people have said if we were to combine as one person, we'd be one hell of a bowler. And I think when we go into a doubles tournament, not having exactly the resume that a lot of the big-time doubles teams have, I think a lot of people know that we're an incredibly competitive pairing when it comes to the doubles tournament. And we've shown it. We came in second the one year. The next year, we just barely missed the show again. And this year, we didn't bowl so well. We still barely missed the match play by 20 pins. So when we bowl doubles, we're incredibly competitive, and I'm pretty sure we're going to get one of these years.
Between the both of you, though, who's a little bit more like the leader?
Oh, Darren.
Darren, of course. Okay. Well, I was going to guess that, but I figured I'd ask because you never know. You could be the silent giant there, Michael. There are people like that.
I'm kind of the type where he just tells me where to stand and where to throw it, and I'll just do it.
I love it. All right. Well, earlier in the show, I mentioned both of your parents. So, Darren, again, we're going to go back to you. Tell us a little bit about the influence that your mom and dad had on you growing up, and still do have an influence on you.
Yeah, Dad was the strict one. So he was, I don't want to say he was the one to instill values, because they both obviously instilled a lot of different values in us, but he was all about the discipline. You get the job done, you work now, you play later. So we got a lot of that from him. I've been told that I'm just like my dad, which is kind of scary to me. So I try to be aware of that. But I guess our social traits come from Mom. We learn we've got kind of the best of both worlds, because Mom's very outgoing, Dad's very to himself.
Mm-hmm.
But they've brought a lot of things to us that a lot of other children may not have had the luxury of experiencing in life.
Okay. And Michael, what would be one word about your mom and one word about your dad that would resonate with you and tell us about your parents?
Oh, man. My vocabulary is not that expansive, so.
Simple terms.
Yeah, I guess mom would be, what would be the word? I mean, one that comes to mind is nurturing, very nurturing.
I like it.
She definitely wants the best for us too, no matter what we do. And Dad would be, I don't think we have words for Dad, but
stern.
He wants us to be the best versions of us that we can be, and he doesn't want any credit for it. He never has. He says it a lot. If we just become people that he's proud to have as children, then his life's complete. So
that's and you know what though?
That, but
No, I think you said it. You did. You spoke straight from the heart on that one. Knowing both of your parents, I think the way you both describe them is right on spot. And I can see both personalities in both of you. Of course, Darren, I do think you probably have a little more of your dad in you, and I would think Michael, you have a little bit more of the of your mom in you, but you look like both of them. You know, I don't think one of them and go, oh my gosh, you look like your mom. I think you look like both. I really do. So personality wise, I think is what separates you just a little bit, but you're both hard workers. You both have that desire, that drive, and which leads me into my next question. Give me a couple of your goals moving forward, Mike. Now, you are not on a team this year for the upcoming PBA event. Would that be one of your goals? And what is something for 2021?
Yeah, definitely being in the league next year would be awesome. I would just say, going higher into the season points rankings. I didn't have the best year this past year. I started to pick things up at the end of the year, so I think if I can continue that trend going into next year, I'll be up there for the next year. Aside from the tour season, just working on the pro shop, possibly expanding it, just basic stuff like that.
Excellent. Darren?
Very basic.
Very
goals. Goals moving forward.
Get on you there.
I'm just trying to continue the progress that I've been on. I think this year was a very good year as far as things coming together. But I'm always looking to make things better and better, no matter what I'm doing, whether it's bowling, Twitch, social media, anything, working out, golf. So if I had to put numbers on it, I'd want to be in the top 5 at least in every category for next season, and start picking up some titles.
All right, so let's talk just a little bit about that. We mentioned earlier, Darren, you are in Las Vegas. You have a good friend of yours that lives right around the corner, Marshall Kent, one of my favorite, fellow New York City Kingpin teammate. And Michael, you have another one of our favorites, Storm staffer Chris Vi. Darren, how important is it when you go to practice to have another set of eyes? Because I know you and Marshall do get out there on the lanes a little bit. I believe you actually do go to, is it Anthony Simonson's?
Mm-hmm. Every so often.
How important is it for you when you're training like this in this off time to have another set of eyes behind you?
Yeah, it's always been incredibly important, especially when Mikey and I were living together still. We practice together all the time, and I think I can't stress how important it is to have another set of eyes because they can see things that you may not feel. Mm-hmm. So for them to be able to point that out is huge because you can't fix a problem if you don't know it's there.
Right. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
So that's a big thing.
Okay. Mikey, what about you? You have Chris Vi there right in your backyard. Your soon-to-be wife next year, Mary, is a great bowler. How important is it for your practice to actually have that support and another set of eyes?
Yeah, it's actually been a big transition because I actually didn't practice with Chris too much because he lived or used to live a little more than an hour away, so we didn't really link up for practice much. But he just moved in town. He's 15 minutes away from me. He's coming over for Taco Tuesday tonight, so I'm sure we'll be practicing together more. But yeah, it's been a big transition going from practicing with Darren every day. We kind of we knew each other's games, head to toe, so we could kind of tell each other when something doesn't look right and vice versa. So it's been a big transition, practicing by myself a lot more. So I try and keep tabs on making sure what makes me throw the ball well, is still being well. So it's been a big transition, but hopefully Chris and I can get back on the grind.
Right. I always enjoyed, especially when I was on the original tour, when I did go to practice, I did make sure I had somebody there with me because I tended to bowl for hours. And sometimes when you're by yourself, you tend to go through the motions and then you catch yourself and you have to walk away and go, okay, wait, I have to refocus. I liked more of having that person with me because being so competitive, the practices became competitive, which I think helped me in the long run. And it's funny, Alyssa, and I'm going to ask you both this if you did this when you were younger. So Alyssa this past weekend had a great practice session with Ethan Gomez and Keegan Alexander. So they were there taking a lesson, but then all of a sudden they would start bowling and you could see, no, we're going to bowl one more. This one's for ice cream. And oh, we're going to bowl one more because we're matched up. You could see the competitive edge come out in them. And I think that helps with situations they'll face in competition. Even though I know they're with their friends, I think it kind of changes their mode of thinking. And it wasn't just practice anymore. It was actually, I don't want to say trying, but it was competitive, but it was good competitive fun. So did you do that growing up when you were practicing? Did it start as just practice and then turn into, yeah, I'm going to beat you this game? Mikey?
Yeah, I think back when we were both in California, it always ended in something like that, especially when we had buddies practicing with us. We would try and run doubles, or we'd run head-to-head matches where we'd have 5 different balls and you'd have to use them Baker style and try and beat each other. Yeah, that's what it always ended up being. So I think that's really helped us gain our competitive edge, get your kind of mental game in the place it needs to be for competition. But yeah, it was always a lot of fun. Ending practice with a little competition and having a little bragging rights going into lunch.
Okay, Darren, what about you? What do you think is key to a good practice session?
Ooh, practice with a purpose.
Ooh, I love it.
That's always been our motto growing up. Our dad pounded that into our brains. I don't think you ever stay the same. I think you either get better or you get worse. So you either you have a productive practice, you try to make changes,
right,
or you just ingrain the habits that you in the future will want to try to undo.
Sure.
And that just makes it harder and harder to change those habits if you don't productively work towards making changes.
Right. Okay, so both of you are obviously a part of the Storm and Rotogrip staff. We're going to start with you, Darren. Storm staff member, we have the trilogy that is currently out, the Trend, the Parallax, and the IQ Nano. Which one seems to be your favorite and why?
Oh, it's so hard to pick a favorite because they all do different things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a big believer in not picking favorites because if I have favorites, I have ones that I don't like.
I like it. Okay.
So I like to throw whatever ball works for whatever given time, whatever the situation calls for. And I believe all 3 of these bowling balls are really good. They're all going to have a place in the bag, I think. So it's going to depend on the time and the place.
Tell us a little bit of what you see out of each ball.
What I see, I actually see a smoother hypercell fuse out of the Parallax.
Oh.
It seems a little more continuous to me.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to drill one like my favorite hypercell fused, and see how it rolls.
Okay.
IQ Nano Pearl is, I think, if you know the IQ series and you thought of how this ball would roll before you actually threw it, I think it rolls exactly that way. Very smooth.
Okay.
Just very IQ-like.
Okay.
And,
which has been a hit. A lot of people like the IQ because of that.
There haven't been a lot of IQs I haven't liked. So
right.
I'll probably be throwing this one a lot next season. And the Trend, I think, is like a slightly weaker Idle Pearl. Oh. It's very close, but it's got those minor differences. A little cleaner. The RG is a little higher, and the cover's, I think, a little weaker. So I see similar motion out of those two.
Excellent.
But different enough.
The key to that trilogy that I saw too is kind of like what you said. Obviously, you do throw whatever the lanes are calling for at the time, but it's nice that these 3 balls seem to play off of each other.
Yeah,
which is really unique. Number 1, and number 2, I also like the fact that I've seen people with high rev rates and lower rev rates be able to use them, and that's a key to a good ball for me. So I love that analogy. Mikey, we have some new balls coming out with Rotogrip, right?
Yes.
So we have the Rubicon, and then we have the Hustle series, right? Tell us a little bit about what you see out of those 3.
Yeah, the Rubicon is, I think it's probably going to be one of the best balls that come out this year. I think it's true to its concept. The core design kind of just trying to be an idle core with a weighted hole. First time I've only thrown it once really, and when I first threw it, I said, "Yep, this is exactly what it was trying to be." And I think it's a really good thing. It's something that I'm probably going to throw early in blocks. I struggle sometimes to throw the bigger ASIMs because they pick up too early and go forward for me. So this one being a little bit of a weaker asymmetric ball, and the cover's not incredibly strong, I think it's going to be incredibly useful, especially kind of bouncing off of how I like to throw my idols and my idle pearls and all of that. So Rubicon, I think, is going to be a hit. And the hustles, the PBR, it's going to be one of those hustles that's going to be viable for tournament bowlers, like the Hustle Ink was. The cover is just strong enough to where you could throw it when there's a little bit of oil. And then the RAP it's kind of your dry lane ball. If the heads are on fire, that ball will get through it no problem. So 3 really good ones in my opinion.
I agree with you on all of that analogy. What I see out of the Rubicon was identical to what you first said, and Alyssa said the same thing. It continues more than an idol. And I absolutely love the idol, but sometimes it would just get a little too early and not be enough around the corner. And the Rubicon allows me to get that extra continuation on the back end. And that's exactly what I saw out of it as soon as I threw it. Not only that, with all of these bowling balls, I love the surface change. In other words, another key for me is if I can shine it, if I can dull it, take it back to where it was, and still get what I want to see, that to me is versatility in a ball. And all of these seem to take surface change really well. Great analogy right there. So now we're going to move forward to just a little bit. We're going to go back to kind of your college days, just a little. You both are graduates of San Jose State. Great bowling college for many years. Mikey, you have a degree in psychology.
Yep.
Okay. Darren, you have one in mechanical engineering.
Yeah, that was fun.
Okay. All right. So you're both not bowlers. We're taking your bowling cap off. You're both not bowlers. Darren, what would you be?
God, now we're useless.
No.
Yeah.
I always told people we majored in bowling. The degree was just a front.
What would, if you weren't a bowler,
man,
what do you see yourself doing right now?
I'd have 2 different answers depending on where I was in life.
Okay.
If I was in college, I wouldn't have the same answers I do now.
Okay.
College me probably would have used the mechanical engineering degree. If I didn't know bowling at all, probably try to work for Google or something. But if I did know bowling, maybe go work for Storm. Design bowling balls or like that. Now, I have become very big on financial freedom and being my own boss. So I would probably still do what I'm doing now, just not bowling related. So content creation, maybe YouTube. I'm actually diving more into YouTube very soon. But Twitch, all that stuff, growing my brand and making a living that way.
Excellent. I love it. And by the way, it doesn't matter that you are a bowler. You can still design bowling balls for Storm. I think they would always be open to an idea. So keep using that mechanical engineering brain, would you? Please? Okay, just checking on you. That sounded that sounded a little motherly, I know, or let's say sisterly. Let's say that. Mikey, psychology. You're not a bowler. Let's do the same thing Darren did. If you were in college, where would your thoughts be? And then where are your thoughts now at this time in your life?
Yeah, it wouldn't have anything to do with psychology. I chose that major because it sounded interesting, and it was, but I'm big on kind of doing something you're passionate about. Otherwise, the work's going to be a little bit miserable. If we were to just delete bowling, I mean, I had a tough time answering this. This was kind of the same question that they asked at the SYC. I would aspire to be a professional golfer. It's kind of my second love is golf. So it was a little bit between that when I was growing up. Originally, when I was just a wee lad, I wanted to be a professional golfer. Tiger Woods, Stanford was right down the road. So that was my original passion, but we just didn't have the resources to do it like we did for bowling. Dad used to own a pro shop. He knew bowling, all that. So if he owned a golf pro shop and Mom worked at a golf course, I'd probably be a professional golfer just to have the resources. But that's just not the way things panned out. So now we're a professional bowler. And then if that weren't the choice, and we're in the now, and I didn't decide to be a professional bowler, I think it'd still be the pro shop business. I think ever since we used to go to the bowling alley every day after school, we used to hang out in the pro shop. Just love being in the pro shop, so I would love to own a good few of them and just operate and own them.
I love that answer because Dylan and I talk about this all the time. Obviously, I'm very passionate about the pro shop industry. I always have been. Growing up, I was very fortunate to have a lot of support from the local pro shop. I fended for nothing. They were always there to help me. And that would be one of my questions to you now. Darren, how important is that relationship between the pro shop and the bowler? Since you've both had a great experience with that, how important is that relationship? And what would you tell people about how to handle that relationship with your pro shop operator?
Ooh, yeah, definitely have to find one you trust. Respect the knowledge that they bring to the table. And that has a lot to do with finding one that you trust. But it's really important because they handle the tools that you use to go out there and compete, whether you bowl league or tournaments, anything. It's important that you trust them and you build a good relationship so that you don't have any doubts when they handle your equipment.
That's very good. I mean, it's simple and to the point, really. We make it more of an issue, but it really is simple and to the point. Michael, you own a pro shop. How important are you noticing that relationship being and what the communication has to be with bowlers?
Yeah, I think trust is really big when it comes to the consumer and the pro shop operator. Ever since Chris and I have gone into the pro shop business, it's been a little over a year. We take pride in seeing the difference and the enjoyment that a lot of the bowlers that we come in, they really enjoy what we do because we have a little bit of a different perspective on bowling compared to the operator who owned this pro shop before. Obviously, being professional bowlers, we know some different things, some different tricks. So it's kind of cool to drill a bowling ball a different way for a customer, and they come back in, they're like, wow, this ball hooks so much, or I just bowled my first 200 game. So, that I think that's one of the best things about owning a pro shop is having that customer come back in being so excited about their new bowling ball. And yeah, we just take big pride in that.
Excellent. It's one of those things I sit and I listen to all of you, and it's so nice to have a fresh perspective of not just hearing the same thing over and over again, because I know in the bowling world and in the world in general, everyone can get a little negative, and if things aren't going well, it tends to always go to one way or another. But you both bring such a fresh perspective to not only the pro shop industry, but the bowling industry, and how the youth bowlers of your generation and the next, which would be with Alyssa and her friends, how you can change bowling and the perception of it. And I think that's something we really need to focus on, especially in the next few years going ahead after this pandemic and with so many things changing. So I want to thank you both for all you do for that. As we are winding down here, so the question, one of the final questions I'll give you is, as I led into that about this next generation, there's two parts of this question. What would you tell your younger self, if you could tell yourself one thing, and leave me with something positive that our future bowlers need to know? Darren, you first.
Well, first, I would need to know if it was me actually telling my younger self, because my younger self was pretty stubborn. So I don't know if I would want to listen to me.
No, but that's good. See, but you're being honest. I mean, I was stubborn too. I wouldn't have wanted to listen to me, right? No,
I've got two things I would tell myself.
Okay.
One, be open-minded. because that opens up so many doors for you, and it makes it so much easier to learn, and it speeds up the process. Second thing would be control what you can control, because things are going to happen. There are going to be a lot of things that you can't, there's nothing you can do about, and there's no point in getting stressed or frustrated over those things because there's nothing you can do.
Excellent. Excellent. I absolutely, absolutely love it. Michael, what would you tell your younger self? And I want you to tell the youth bowlers, the next generation, what can they do? What something positive?
Yeah, what I would tell my younger self, don't be such a goof. Because I think when I was young, I just like to have fun, and I like to I like to express my personality a lot, and just kind of be silly when I bowled. I think it took away from a lot of the successes I could have had just by being a little more focused. So I would definitely try and be more like I am today, a little more focused when I do compete. And for the future generation, just try and absorb as much information as possible, and just try and find a balance between your emotions and kind of you trying to be a little too focused. It's good to have fun.
I like that.
Good to be focused, because when I watch youth tournaments now, I kind of see two types of youth bowlers. There's a kind of like Darren, where a little bit more stubborn, really kind of when they bowl, and then there's people kind of like me, they're just kind of goofs and like to have fun. I really noticed that. And then the really good bowlers, the really good youth bowlers, are kind of a blend of the two. So if you can kind of balance that determination and having fun, I think it just makes bowling and competition a lot easier and a lot more fun.
I absolutely agree with you. I mean, both of you could not have expressed personalities, number one, in both of those answers. No, seriously, your personalities and where you come from, what resonates with you. And again, I don't think one is better than the other. It's not like, oh, that's the way you have to be. It's such a good blend and a good mix, which again goes back to you have two fantastic parents and a great support system, and the group of friends that you've chosen to be around. Something we always talk about is choose the people that are going to make you stronger and make you better, not the ones that are going to bring you down. And it's apparent that you have chosen wisely, in surrounding yourself with really strong people. So I would like to thank the both of you for joining us this morning. I want to, before I let you go, though, I just want everyone who's listening, because I had such a good time with this. I think we're going to have you back as the tour season gets back going. Focused, determined, hard worker, funny, laid back, athletic, brothers, house party passionate, college bowlers, role models, respectful, love their parents, they love their friends, and they love bowling. You are two of the best. You are going to have so much success on and off the lanes. And I want to thank you for allowing us to be friends with you, since we are so much older. But I want to thank you both for choosing bowling, because I think we're better for it by having you both in our industry. So I wish you the best of luck, and we will talk to you later on when the season kicks off. And Darren, I will see you in Virginia in a few weeks for the team event. But have a great week and take care and stay safe out there.
Thank you, you too. Thanks for having us.
Take care. So there you have it. We are definitely going to have them back on. Del, do you want to wave to everybody this morning? Why don't you wave just so everybody knows you're doing well? Del is doing well. September 23rd will be his next surgery. But it will go well. Everything is going well. We're gonna stay positive. But I'm so glad you joined us today. We had two of our I want to say up and coming stars, but they're stars already in just so many different ways. Del, as you and I talked before we decided to have them on the show, I mean, they are, the epitome of good parenting. I mean, they come from just such humble parents that just chose the right path for their children and let them do their thing, but yet be themselves. I mean, you have two brothers. I can speak on this behalf because of having my sister in the same sport, but they both resonate in different ways and they let their personality shine. And again, this is what we need in bowling. So let's make sure to promote that, like their page on Facebook, get with Darren Tang on his Twitch channel, follow TV Bowling Supply. I mean, this is where we need to make the impact on bowling and have it go forward. So just make sure to get out there, watch these young bowlers and the PBA Tour and the women's PWBA Tour when we come back in 2021. This wraps up this week. Please make sure to visit ballardsbowlingacademy.com and like our Facebook pages, please. We are trying to get some more stuff on there, and we will be launching some YouTube channel content as well as some Carolyn Doran Ballard goods coming up here soon. So thank you again, and we will see you next week.